it is very clear to me that Derek Carr, to me, really is not the problem in Las Vegas. In fact, we made multiple videos on the subject, and I think a lot of what comes down to defining Derek Carr and what's going to define this Las Vegas Raiders offense moving forward is, what are they going to do for this man moving forward? Now, this last year, I felt like they gave him, arguably in his career, the best chance to compete. His defense was playing like a top unit for especially the later part of the season. He had guys like Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs, Hunter Renfrow. Zay Jones really stepped up as the year went on. Obviously, the Henry Ruggs Jr. situation, prayers for everyone involved there, it was a catastrophe. Like, that was something that I don't think anybody expected. But before that happened, this offense was zooming. 3-0 start, beating three solid teams to start out the year. This offense looked scary. And then after that, everything kind of just went downhill from there. And there's couple different ways you can analyze that. There's a couple different things you can look at. Obviously, the rug situation, press for everyone involved, was obviously a big downer for this team. And it was tough for them trying to find that number 2 wide receiver behind one Hunter Renfrow, who, in my mind, I think he can play like a number 1. We saw that this year, but he might be best suited as a number 2 wide receiver. I don't know. I think the Raiders really need to go out and find that wide receiver that they want to take over, because I think if you want Derek Carr to be successful, you have to give him weapons. Now, again, you gave him Darren Waller, you gave him Josh Jacobs, you gave him Hunter Renfrow, and you saw a guy that finally started to look like the franchise quarterback that you played with. Like that's the guy you're taking to the dance. You like it. And obviously, when I say weapons, I don't just mean offensive weapons either. They've got a lot of stuff on defense that we've already made a video about yesterday. Check it out, talking about building the Raiders defense. That's one end of the spectrum. There's the first one. The other end of the spectrum for me is, when I say weapons, I don't mean just pass catchers. I think, like I said, I think they need one more pass catching number 1 wide receiver throughout, whether it's free agency or the draft, that they need to go get. Preferably the draft, because you like to draft and then bring in guys and develop them. I understand that. But they, in my mind, need to get this man the offensive line he deserves. Now, I know he's had some good offensive lines in the past, but then the defense, like, it's always something with this team and my Vikings, for that matter. Like, none of these things match up at the same time. It's always, hey, the defense is really good and the offense is really lacking, like we saw at the end of the year with Derek Carr and the offense. Or it's, hey, at the beginning of the season, the offense is really good and the defense is just not getting it done. It's frustrating, because very few times, and it doesn't seem to be during the right time do they seem to be coming together. And I really think if the Raiders are going to come together during the right time of the season, they really need to make sure that they are obviously getting Derek Carr, the defensive, and the defensive pieces they need to put it together. But also, listen, I'm not trying to throw a stone here into a glass building, but we need to call a spade here for a second. Colton Miller was easily the best offensive lineman on the field. Other than that, it was a giant jack in the box. Like, your guess is as good as mine as to what's going to happen. Alex Leatherwood, even though I thought there was promise at times, I felt like you would have been better picking up a guy, like Wyatt Davis in the later rounds, who I felt was a very good guard. The Vikings picked him up. Or Christian Darrisaw probably would have been best suited at left tackle. I don't know, but maybe Christian Darrisaw would have worked out the Raiders. I don't know, but I don't think the Leatherwood pick really worked out. We'll get into grading the Raiders picks as we move on down here, but the harsh reality of the situation is the offensive line was a huge weakness for the Raiders last year. And I mean, Derek Carr, again, he's not Aaron Rodgers, he's not Patrick Mahomes, but you can win with Derek Carr. He has proven that if you protect him and get the weapons he needs. And if we even just take a look at Patrick Mahomes, for that matter, when we saw him in last year's Super Bowl, everything fell apart. His offensive line, I think he was out with his 2 best starters. Also, didn't exactly have his wide receivers that were catching the football for him. So we saw even arguably the greatest quarterback in the NFL not be able to get it done because his offensive line and his receivers weren't getting it done. Give Derek Carr weapons. That's what it comes down to. I think if you give Derek Carr a medium tier offensive line, because I don't rank the Raiders offensive line last year that well. If you give him a medium offensive line, I think they at least make it to the divisional round. If you swap 1 or 2 players out, like if you give, I can't even think off the top of my head. If you take out, whether it's Simpson or Leatherwood, it's somebody, just take out one and put in a serviceable backup. Take Brian O'Neill from the Vikings. If Brian O'Neill starts at right tackle for the Raiders, No doubt in my mind they make it to the divisional round. Not even close. Like, it's not even a debate. Because all it takes is one piece. And sometimes for the Raiders, I think it's just a couple pieces, but all it takes is, for one to make a big difference. And can you imagine if the Raiders are able to just get a couple of the pieces they need? Now, I know it's hard to get everything right in place, but the Raiders don't need that much. That's what's so frustrating about this team. It's like, we see it. We see what this defense can do. Play like a number one unit. We showed you guys that video, the number one unit for the last month of the NFL season. They can do it. It's just a matter of getting that out of them on the coaching level. So, and we'll probably see some changes on that front too, because I'm hearing reports and seeing stories about how they could switch to a 3-4. I don't know if we want to do that yet. We'll get a video out about that if it is indeed true. But I think that the main premise of this is the fact that you need to get Derek Carr the weapons. You need to get him the weapons, because I think, yes, we've established he's not necessarily a Hall of Fame quarterback right now, but if you get him the weapons, you give him a Super Bowl, I think he can be that quarterback that a lot of people have been hating on, and they'll realize it because he's a very good quarterback. He just has had no help along the offensive line this particular year. Now, in the years past, they had a really good offensive line, but again, the defense was lackluster, blah, blah, blah. Put the pieces around Derek Carr to make him successful, including an offensive line and a number one wide receiver other than Hunter Renfrow. And man, things will start coming together. This will be a scary team. Watch what Derek Carr will do for the Raiders. But let us know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We really appreciate all the support that we've gotten and continue to get. You guys are truthfully awesome. We love every single one of you. In the description down below, you'll find all of our social media platforms, so give us a like and a follow there. Also, please remember to give us a listen and sub on iTunes. And if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com or put in the comment section down below, and we would love to cover it. But let us know what you guys think about the Las Vegas Raiders needing to give Derek Carr weapons.